This is Erica Glessing. You are joining me for the Erica Glessing Show, where you receive 8 minutes of inspiration for both entrepreneurs and lightworkers. And my next guest is a fabulous TV star in my community. Her name is Heather Durham. I'm so glad she could come. We're actually celebrating the 10th year of her wonderful TV show, Silicon Valley Tags, and we'll tell you more about that. Welcome, Heather. How are you?
I'm doing great on this rainy day. It's beautiful. We're getting rain.
I know, we finally get rain. You know, it's so interesting. I think of my whole, in my third year of guests, I could probably count on one hand my own guests from my own city. So, and you guys, I have to tell you, listeners, we're still doing it by Zoom. It's like, we could be anywhere. We could be at a coffee shop, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your TV show. Like, tell us the name of it and what it stands for, its mission, and then just kind of what made you want to start a TV show like that?
So I'm so excited. I never thought in a million years when I was a kid I'd be doing an educational website and TV show. The idea was to build an educational website and TV show and to help share information about technology, art, green, and sustainability. That's the tags in SV Tags for Silicon Valley Tech, Art, Green, and Sustainability. And our mission for people that don't know is to inform about companies, nonprofits, people, places concerning tech, art, green, and sustainability. And the intention is to foster growth and learning in the tags area of interest and connecting people with industry and resources. That's kind of our mission.
I think it's so much fun, like when I talk to someone who gets an idea for a TV show and then actually builds a TV show. You know, one of the things people are scared of is they're not going to know how, or how do you remember back to getting over that initial, like, you know, how am I going to have this operational and beautiful?
Well, so I have to tell you, I'm more comfortable in jeans and shorts and not putting makeup on. I was kind of a tomboy at heart. So again, I never thought in a million years I'd be doing this. However, I do marketing consulting, and I had a client placed in Sunset Magazine. And this was about 2006. The client was 2005 to 2008, and they were a nanotechnology glass company. And I had never worked in the construction space or architectural. And the client left the project, and it was a Sunset House of Innovation, all high-tech stuff. And the architect, builder, designer weren't talking to each other. And inconvenient truth had come out then, and greenwashing was a new word. And so I came up with this idea to do an educational website to help those small companies that are starting up. And, you know, if a company doesn't get their information out there, the community's not going to do better, and the world too. And so it was strange that the architect, builder, designer weren't sharing information, because in the high-tech advertising and marketing area, you had to get it out there, or, you know, the business wouldn't launch. And apparently for the architects, builder, designers, you know, they would get a bonus or something, or the pat on the back from the homeowner or the commercial building owner. Now, this was Sunset Magazine, so they should have been a little looser with information. So that was 2006. Flash forward to 2008, I had a friend that had been doing a TV show on Comcast locally, and he told me about a new nonprofit station, which is the Create TV station.
Right.
And he said they're looking for producers, and I knew a lot about everything else in marketing, but had never done film. And, you know, got hold of a friend that was on a board with me at the city of San Jose, found out who the production person was, and everything I'd written for the website but hadn't published, sent them in a one page, and they said, "We love this. Come and take an orientation, and if you're not scared away, take a producer's class and then start producing."
You know, I love this whole, like, I know when I was starting to do my first podcast, I remember that the first one I did was an epic fail. So it was in 2013. So it didn't actually get wings. And then I did it again in 2015, and it really didn't work either. Then, you know what I did? It was so fun. I actually got like, I was on the Entrepreneur on Fire podcast. And so that's a fabulously successful show. And I just went in the back. I just went and I noodled, noodled by just, exploring Heather, right? I just explored what are all the things he's doing right, and what can I do to model that? And my show started, and it took off. It was like 10,000 listens the very first month. And I went, oh my gosh. And I just went, it was like this like light went off when I finally knew what the show wanted to do and be. But I think it's really fun. Tell me a little bit, this is going to be a really strange question, but I always trust questions that show up. But how do you find guests for the show? Like, you know, you're going into the 10th year, you've been bringing all these different high tech and interesting guests. So tell me a little bit about how you kind of like choose guests, and what do you do to bring in new and interesting guests?
So when I first started the show, I made a spreadsheet of 300 ideas of topics around tech, art, green, and sustainability, people I wanted to interview, places I wanted to go to interview people. And, you know, I shared that at one point, but it's funny because there's a couple people that started their own TV shows or podcasts, and they actually followed that along as their editorial line. So I stopped sharing that, and mostly it's in my head, but I never have a problem finding interesting people and interviewing. And in fact, going into our 10th year, the idea was always to go to like Chicago, New York, Europe, Hawaii, and go to other places that are doing interesting things around tech, art, green, and sustainability. So hopefully in our 10th year, we'll be able to start producing in those other places. And I'm actually currently looking for a new intern. My first media specialist intern turned into media specialist. He's now gone on to other things. And so I'm looking for a new intern. And I have to say the most interesting people is I interviewed Deepak Chopra early on at SeneQuest Film Festival.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Gloria Steinem at Stanford at a women's event, gosh, maybe 5 years ago. And I'm kind of looking here, Bill Gates and President Clinton at Washington, D.C.'s ARPA-E conference at the Department of Energy. So again, one of those things I wanted to do was to go to this Department of Energy's scientific event that they have, and to hopefully cross our fingers that doesn't get squished, right, with the budget, that they don't take away that scientific part of ARPA-E that brings in new businesses. And the funny thing is I did a fundraising event, and I got there, and, you know, somebody actually donated the air ticket, and my Seroptimus Club, someone gave me the location, and I did a wine event to raise money to get there. So I had a little extra money because I had a place and the airfare paid for. And the key thing was I didn't have a camera at that time. I was using the TV stations, and someone said, just put a word out to other producers. And, you know, pretty soon I had DC TV saying, we'll send you two people. How much?
Wow,
well, if you share the film for free. So, you know, if you've got an idea in your head and you put it out there to the world, it'll come back to you, and you'll be able to get there. And, you know, it's been 10 years.
You know, Heather, I can even hear in your voice, it's that I'm going to do it. It's that I'm going to do it. This is going to get done. So then we're just figuring out the how.
Yeah.
Because once you commit to something like that, and I can just sense it in your voice, it's so cool. It's like it's not like when I wrote my first book, it's the same kind of energy. I just knew it would be published. Because I'd been published forever as a journalist. I'd been published for 10 years before I wrote my book. So then I was like, okay, well, who's going to publish it? Like, who's this strategic for? You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like, will it exist? I never asked that question. I asked, like, and I can hear it in your voice. You're like, you just got committed to your idea, and then you just kept growing and growing it. And I love it. So tell me also, let's mention the show name again. Silicon Valley Tags. Say again the long thing.
SV Tags, Silicon Valley Tech, Art, Green, and Sustainability. And it is a Google beta site that I put up, so people have to put in the www.svtags.org. And that's the same Twitter feed as SV Tags and Instagram, which I'm trying to get a little better at. But it's svtags.org. And again, they have to put the www for Silicon Valley Tech, Art, Green, and Sustainability.
I did have one more question. Sure. And that was, if I want to have a TV show, what's your best top tip if I want to start my own TV show?
Well, I would say, like you said, look at the experts, try to get yourself in line, even if it's volunteering. Again, when I first started the show, I joined Create TV. It took me 5 months to take the orientation because it was one night a week and I was on 5 boards, and it happened to fall on the nights the boards were. So August 2008 to December, didn't get to go to the orientation. Then January 2009, I took the producer's class. So February, this next month, is when we actually started producing, and our first show aired in March 2009. So it's not going to happen overnight. You know, it may if you have the right sponsors, the right people. But if you plan and you just keep persisting and look at what other people are doing, like you said, with what was the podcast?
Oh, my own, the show that you're on right now.
Yeah, but the Silicon Valley, the first one that you did, the Silicon Valley Entrepreneurs podcast.
Oh no, my first show.
That you went on someone's show and you kind of followed his lead.
Oh, Entrepreneur on Fire.
Entrepreneur on Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at the examples of what other people are doing and try to follow that, but then have your own plan, you know, eventually you'll get there. And
I think so too. Excellent advice. Thank you. For anyone who missed, this is Heather Durham. She is the executive producer of Silicon Valley Tags. And how can we reach you and find out more?
So again, you can go to the website, www.svtags.org, Twitter, svtags, and info@svtags.org or press@svtags.org will get me.
Love it. Thank you.
Thank you.